Not the only killer robot.
So I just got in from seeing the sequel to M3GAN 2.0. Before we get into it, definitely smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, this will be a spoiler-free review. So to get into it, 2 years after M3GAN's rampage, her creator Gemma resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation in order to take down Amelia, the military-grade weapon who was built by a defense contractor who stole M3GAN's underlying tech. So to get into this, now I know M3GAN isn't for everybody, but I am a huge M3GAN fan. I really do, have a thing for doll movies and, like Chucky and, movies like M3GAN. And I was a fan of the first one. TikTok actually blew it up, and weirdly, this was a PG-13 movie that just took the horror community in a chokehold, and everybody was enjoying M3GAN. Now, with M3GAN 2.0, I will say this movie was insane. It was like they did not think about anything. They just was like, you know what, we're gonna have fun with this character. We're gonna take this character from just being a horror doll, a killer doll, to just being just this almost like celebrity doll. Now, with this movie, I will say, if you were expecting a horror movie, already just take that out your head. This is not a horror movie. I'm gonna be honest, this is more of like an action thriller, and it focuses a lot on AI, and I liked the story they were telling with M3GAN 2.0. Now, I know a lot of people, from my knowledge, actually didn't enjoy this movie, but I actually enjoyed M3GAN 2.0. Is it the best movie? No, but for it to be just a movie that's existing in that PG-13 universe and it's connected to the first M3GAN, I really did like it. Now, one thing I was expecting this to be, I actually thought that M3GAN 2.0 was going to be, not good because of the trailer, and we saw like, M3GAN jumping out the sky talking about hold on to your vajayjays, and it just looked like it really was almost like a comedy, which you're going to laugh, you're going to chuckle. I was laughing in this. I will say this, man, maybe I'm the only one on earth that enjoys the comedy coming from M3GAN, but man, I was literally laughing in the theaters, bro. And I really love seeing Katie and Gemma back. And it's cool how they actually bring M3GAN back involved with the story, and how they kind of start incorporating her in this story with Gemma and Katie again after 2 years. And the new doll being Amelia is very interesting. At first, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, okay, they're saying that this is like this new AI robot. But I thought just her seeming so human kind of was taken away from the vibe of the film because M3GAN is a doll. But I actually enjoyed Amelia's character, and I just seeing her and M3GAN go back and forth through the story. And the characters actually had great dialogue and things like that. I really love the action. It almost seems like a Mission Impossible type of vibe when it comes to the action. But one thing I will say with M3GAN 2.0 that is literally, crazy to say this, but it kind of gives me vibes of, the Terminator movies, like especially Terminator Judgment Day. It definitely gives me that vibe. I feel like, M3GAN is just simply, a T-1000 or like a Arnold, and she's just trying to protect her John Connor. I think that's something that is big in this movie, that is just feeling like Terminator and is having its own feel. And I think that people were expecting us to get another horror story, and I don't know what made Blumhouse do it, but I don't hate it. I genuinely don't hate it. I had a good time with it. It's a cyber thriller, action-packed, sci-fi, but it does not fall in the horror category for me. I did have a lot of fun with this. I feel like this is one of those movies that you're either going to love it or you're either going to hate it. That simple. I definitely feel like M3GAN 2.0, this movie won't be for everybody, especially if you didn't, get down with the first one. But I really enjoyed it. I liked the final act, even though sometimes I did feel like the final act, it was dragging. They were trying to just get a point across too much, where it could have just been all simple, and it kind of felt predictable from certain points. But I feel like the action made up for, and just some of the emotional moments that they incorporated with M3GAN and Katie and Gemma, it made up for the drag. But it does drag at a point. But when you have action going on in a scene that's dragging, it's like, okay, it's making up for it because your attention is so involved in that scene. scene, you start to kind of ignore the drag. But I love the story that they were telling, kind of just talking about how AI is now, you know, modern day, and how people are using AI and how people are going about using it and how it can be dangerous to the world. And I just genuinely think that, you know, once again with M3GAN 2.0, that this can obviously have more movies because how they ended M3GAN 2.0. It's like, I think one thing I will say about it is the way they ended this. I hope that if they do a M3GAN 3 or 3.0, that they kind of departure away from how it ended, because the way it ended is similar to something that, you know, we've already seen. That's all I'll say. But I do think that, you know, with M3GAN 2.0, that if they do it the right way, this can be something big. No, she's not Chucky. She was in the first one. You can put her in that situation with Chucky, but now it's like she's her own thing now, and I would like to see more movies. We have heard that, you know, the team behind M3GAN, they wants to do about 5 movies, and I really did enjoy, you know, Gemma's character in this, and Katie. And one thing I did like that they incorporated with the M3GAN doll was that, you know, AI can malfunction sometimes. AI can sometimes not think for itself. It's all just machine operated and computer generated. So it's going to have hiccups and issues here and there. You know, they even kind of dive into the point where M3GAN, you know, she was younger in the first one. She was basically like a child and was, you know, doing what she was told to do, protect Katie. And, you know, she didn't know the responsibility she really had and how to go about it. So it kind of just factors in M3GAN 2.0 when she's trying to be a better her, a better doll, and a better just, you know, I want a big sister to Katie, I'm guessing. But I did love it. And, you know, we see a different version of M3GAN in this that I didn't think I would like, but I actually enjoyed it. I might be on the island by myself. I enjoy, once again, Gemma's character. I enjoy Tess. I enjoy Katie. I enjoyed all the characters, I'm gonna be honest. And I love the story that we're telling, and it was just something that had my attention. I can't sit up here and say I didn't have fun with it. But I'm also a M3GAN fan, so it was good, man, and I had a great time with it. Hopefully we get like a M3GAN 3.0 and they stay on track with what they're doing. And a lot of the stuff that they were pulling off with the M3GAN doll, yeah, they had a budget for sure. They had a budget. And at first, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, okay, the CGI is giving cartoony. But for some reason, when I was watching it, it didn't give that. It didn't give like heavy CGI. I mean, it was CGI, but it just looked fluid. It wasn't nothing that made me hate the movie. And I love the decisions they made to, you know, revive M3GAN and bring her back. It was very cool. If, you know, I had to give M3GAN 2.0 a rating, I will give M3GAN 2.0 a 8.0 out of 10. I'll give it an 8.0 out of 10, and that's just my opinion. Will I pick this up again? I think I will. I think the rewatch value is going to be decent. But yeah, man, comment down below. How did you all feel about Blumhouse's new horror film, or should I say thriller, M3GAN 2.0? Let me know down in the comments. With that being said, I want you all to watch some horror movies. Stay scary out there. Until next time, peace.